How about this tip? The 18-year-old Mustafa Sham up against the 24-year-old Hunter Dickinson, and it's into the hands of Jordan Ivy Curry, a UCF team with 3 of the top 11 scores in the Big 12. And this dude, Keyshawn Hall, has been nearly unstoppable. Hit his first 9 in that road win against Texas Tech, but a miss there.
Well, that's great one-on-one defense. That's a matchup I'm going to be watching all night.
Shaquille Moore, number 0 in blue, making his first start since last season at Mississippi State. And there is a quick touch inside to Dickinson, the most accomplished big in the game right now.
If you're Kansas, you want to attack that. Yes, Strom has been playing extremely well in the last 5 games, but it's the rookie versus the vet. Hunter Dickinson has so much more experience over this young man.
That is a fascinating matchup. Here's the rock for UCF. Darius Johnson gives it up the hall, got it back, and Johnson left it short. Shiam comes flying in, nearly had the offensive rebound. As always, it's the old head, Dwan Harris, running the show at point for Kansas. And that's going to be a foul against UCF. And a quick one on Darius Johnson. Bill Self has talked a lot this week about energy. We have to start with energy. We were lethargic in that loss against West Virginia. Johnny Dawkins, I don't know if he truly realizes quite yet how good his team is looking. He's keeping that perspective.
And they've gotten so much better offensively. The area in which he probably has a small bit of concern is on the defensive side, as we've seen 2 baskets, 2 easy baskets. Good cut right there, KJ Adams. But that's the area of the game in which Johnny Dawkins wants his team to be better defensively.
That is one of the guys that understands the culture, the expectations for Kansas. KJ Adams playing a lot of hoops for Bill Self. He's been here since the beginning.
And I think you said it best. He understands who he is. He knows what he does offensively and defensively, and he's been that same guy throughout his whole career.
I want to go back to this matchup, though, inside. We saw Sham with the travel call. He should be a senior in high school, reclassified, though, to join this Knights team this season. That's a tall task with Dickinson inside. Here's Adams again. The dish, Harris for 3, and it rims out. Hall probing to the paint. Juice, Ivy Curry rips it.
Oh, that's what he does best. On the catch, you have to be there, because if he gets any bit of space, he has an extremely quick release and is looking to let it fly.
Sham tries to slow down Dickinson. He muscles his way in. Hall with the rebound. Hall, one of the hottest players in college basketball. His first season in Orlando after transferring from George Mason. Ivy Curry, no. And as good as Hall has been, Zeke Mayo, number 5 in blue, has been just that hot for Kansas.
Absolutely terrific, averaging 26 in the last 3. Look for him to have a really big night.
Held ball there. Adams in the good battle with Hall. And it will stay Kansas basketball. So even with these struggles for the Jayhawks right now, it's perplexing because they have players that have been around.
Yeah.
Harris in season number 6, year number 5, running the point for the Jayhawks. Adams and Dickinson in year number 2 understands what the expectations are.
Well, they're one of the oldest teams in college basketball. That is one reason why the losses that we've seen on the road, the loss that we saw last game against West Virginia, people need to pump the brakes.
Yeah.
Don't be concerned about this Jayhawk team, because they are old, experienced, and they know how to win. They will figure it out. Here's
Mayo, transfer from South Dakota State, where it was the Summit League Player of the Year last season in Brookings, South Dakota. 4 on the shot clock. Here's Mayo. Suffocating defense from Hall. Some contact. No call. The floater no good. Dickinson, a rebounding juggernaut. And it is off the Knights. So Kansas basketball.
And we're right here. Good floater, but Sellers turns this into a jumping contest. You're not going to win that with 7'2" Dickinson. You have to be able to block him out right there.
Oh, what a play back inside to Harris. He weaves around, now floats it. Too strong. Dickinson cleaning up. And there is his second bucket from point-blank range.
Early on, no blocking out down low. That is an area when you play against Kansas and KJ Adams and Hunter Dickinson, you have to emphasize blocking out.
Hall with the pull-up. Too strong. Start at 9 for 9 against Texas Tech. Dickinson wants it, but pass a little off there from Shaquille Moore. We talk about
that was the right idea right there, Leroy. He had the advantage. He had the size down low. Just bad execution right there by Moore.
This guy that's played a lot of basketball has been dealing with a nagging foot injury that popped up during preseason camp. As Hall has the shot blocked by Dickinson. Jayhawks trying to run. Mayo looks him off and lays it in. Zeke Mayo getting on the board for KU.
Right now, we see Hall struggling with the size and the length of the front court of Kansas.
John with a touch inside, double team, too much, and Dickinson is just putting on a clinic in the post. Mayo pulls the trigger from outside, rolls out, and here's Johnson. Off the fingertips of Jalen Sellers, UCF turnover.
This is when Kansas is at their best. Good defense leads to easy offense. Hunter Dickinson putting on a clinic down low. Zeke Mayo just doing what he does best, putting the ball in the hole. One thing he emphasized when I talked to him before the game, he talked about how his team needs to be more competitive. They need to compete harder. They need to play harder. And you're right. Those days when you put on the Kansas jersey and you go to an arena and you think teams are just going to lay down, guys are too old, guys are too experienced for that. But I think he said that they're slowly getting better.
You just think about this as Hall gets a piece of it into the hands of Rokas Yosis. You get a little more from Storr and Griffin as Yosis tries to save this off the airball three. Kansas is in good shape. They've got guys that have done it at a high level. Storr, second team, all Big Ten. Griffin was a starter on the Final Four team at Alabama.
Yeah, well, right now, Bill Self wants to see more from those guys on the defensive side of things. He wants those guys to find ways to stay on the floor that don't involve scoring.
A 1 of 8 start from the field for UCF. Does this look like a Kansas team that is more energetic and engaged?
Yeah, I mean, right now, adding Shaquille Moore provides a lot on the defensive side.
5 on the shot clock. Mayo driving, tough finish. And the youngster coming in with some thunder, Flory Bidunga.
He has been so impressive this season. His versatility on defense, how hard he competes on both sides of the basketball. Bidunga has been phenomenal.
There's C3 unleashed and ripped by Debo Coleman. He's been so clutch for this UCF team starting with Jalen Sellers coming off the bench, trying to get healthy, embracing his role now as a sixth man.
Well, he's shooting 66 from 3 in the last 3 games. So he's just picking up where he left off. Very, very confident. He's getting more and more confident as the games go by from beyond the arc.
Duga, the shovel to Adams. Adams, and that's usually where he is so good, right there at the elbow. Coleman maybe got away with the walk. Inside wide open, and the missed bunny by Yosis. It was right there for Rokas Yosis. Could not connect.
And these are the plays that you have to be able to convert when you're playing against a good team. Good pass right there by Coleman. But you gotta go finish that, big fella. And immediately, coach takes him out the game, because those are the plays that in a game like this, when you're in the Big 12 and a lot of games come down to one possession, that can be the difference between a win or a loss.
So technical foul.
They're hanging on the rim, yeah.
On Yosis, that sends Zeke Mayo to the line. We talk about the little things. Those are the details as well. And for a team in Kansas that is really struggling to get to the line, you need to take advantage of every trip there. This is now Rylan Griffin checking in, number 6 for Kansas. This is the transfer from Alabama that we were talking about. Mayo taking it past Sellers, tough to the hoop and good. And there is the second bucket of the afternoon for Zeke Mayo.
I love the pace that he plays with. Off of the ball screen, he is always in control, and he does as good of a job as anybody.
The lefty,
off 2 feet.
Sellers got his miss. Darius Johnson for 3, rattles it in. And Darius Johnson with his first bucket of the game.
He's going to have a big night tonight. You let him get hot, him and Curry. They're like microwaves. They can heat up real quickly.
UCF has a few of those guys, not including Sellers, that can get you buckets in a hurry. There's old reliable Hunter Dickinson working his way inside. Working his way to another double-double. As Dickinson was 7 on the season to lead the Big 12. 5-point cushion here for KU. Much better start than at home against West Virginia. A loss that still has Bill Self perplexed. First home loss to the Mountaineers. A lob inside to Bidunga from Harris, and that's going to be off big number 40.
That's a great job right there by Darius Johnson. Getting physical with Bidunga, not allowing the lob over. But look at this right here. Zeke Mayo does as good a job as any guard in the country playing off 2. And Darius Johnson, you have to be there on the catch. You have to treat him and Curry the exact same.
Johnson has made about a 10-point jump over his career 3-point percentage this season. And we got a body going down. That's going to be an offensive foul on UCF. And that's going to be against Mustafa Cham. Number 1 for the 18-year-old, who was on a Taco Fall-like trajectory. That's as big of a name as they have around here in Orlando. Cham with 29 blocks in 12 games in his rookie campaign. That's the same pace through 12 as Taco Fall in his first year. Dickinson, that is exactly where he wants to get it. And one of the best assist men in the game, Harris sets him up.
And that's what DeJuan Harris does so well. He finds his teammates and puts them in positions to succeed. And right there, when you have that short roll or in that mid-paint area, Hunter Dickinson is knocking that down.
Sham did that twice against Texas Tech. Misses that 3-point shot. We got a scrum. And down goes David Coit. Harris charging the other way. No call. Darius Johnson eyes up. Sellers finishes past Hunter Dickinson. Dickinson And a whistle before Hunter Dickinson got that put back. And UCF trying to claw back into this.
Able to set him up when he needs the basketball. He's in store for a really big night, and right now UCF has to find an answer, or Hunter Dickinson is in for a field day.
24-year-old on the left, 18-year-old on the right. Advantage to the old head, Hunter Dickinson. Sham now goes to the bench, picking up his quick second foul. That's going to make a large issue even more problematic because Kansas has all 16 of their points inside the paint. As Dickinson hits the first free throw.
And as good as Cham has played so far, I mean, this is by far his biggest test of the season up to this point. This is the best big man he might see all year, but up to this point, this is the best big that he has seen.
How has Sellers looked to you playing his third game of this season?
Well, his body looks good. Like, he looks like he's able to move at 100% speed. He hasn't scored the ball up to this point well, but I look for him to be more aggressive as the game gets going.
Johnson lost his footing. Coit came up with it. Diggy Coit, another one of those transfers. He was one of the top scorers in the MAC last season for Northern Illinois. There is Coit, undersized, but he brings a perimeter scoring threat. Haven't really tapped into that as Adams throws it straight to Coleman.
There's Johnson, does as good as I've seen this year on a guard. When he gets switched onto a big in the pick and roll, he's extremely physical and makes it super tough on the catch.
Little step back, trying to go up and over Coit. And here comes Shaq Moore. Stop, kick to Griffin, to Diggy. And Hall had the rebound, lost it, and it will stay with the Jayhawks. So I want to talk to everybody back in the Midwest and hope that everybody is as safe as possible with the horrendous winter weather that everybody's getting. As it forced Kansas to leave campus early and arrive in Orlando ahead of those storms. And that is what the Jayhawks have been desperate for. Rylan Griffin getting it going from outside.
And that's what he has done so far on this year's Kansas team. Knock it down from deep, but they need more than just that from that young man.
Adams says, get out of my house. Coit turns the corner. Tough lay-in. Dickinson with the putback. And Kansas on 11-2 run, and they are doing all the damage inside. Dickinson in double figures, closing in on another double-double.
Well, you can't turn it into a jumping contest. We talked about it earlier, and right now, nobody is putting a body on Dickinson. Nobody is blocking out. This is a great block by KJ Adams. Super athletic, super physical. And then on the backside, right there, Hall has to be able to block him out. Dickinson pushes off a little bit, but Hall has to go seek contact when the shot goes up. You turn it into a jumping contest, you're losing that 9 times out of 10, especially to a guy who is 7'2".
Just absolutely dominating inside the paint. Dickinson now with 12 points, 5 of 6 from the field. High percentage looks, that's what they need.
And right here on the offensive side of things, I would look to try to get Keyshawn Hall more involved on the offensive side. They tried to do it early, he struggled a little bit, but Keyshawn Hall right now with this group on the line will be your answer. Go to Keyshawn Hall.
Knights just 4-17 from the field. No player with multiple field goals. Mikey Williams, guy that started his career at Memphis, top prospect out of the state of California, now checks in the game. Coleman with the kick. And the pull-up is no good from Benny Williams. Griffin turns it over to Hall. Adams does it again. Oh, we've got a whistle.
Oh.
KJ Adams going up with bad intentions on that shot attempt.
Foul, and not Lowell. This block was disgusting. Look where KJ Adams comes from. Good hustle play.
Ooh.
But oh my goodness.
Says, don't forget about me. So they roll at Westlake High School down in the Austin area. But it sends Hall to the line.
And this could be big for him.
Yep.
Scorers like Hall, they need to see the ball go in. So when you put him on a free throw line, now he has the potential to see 2 free throws go in. And once again, you gotta take another look at this block. Goodness
Is that
gracious.
a foul? Is that a foul?
I mean, yeah.
I guess.
I guess.
Well, Keyshawn Hall goes to the line and gets both of them. 10-point lead now for the Jayhawks. Zeke Mayo will lob it inside. Dickinson, fantastic hands, and he's able to finish. He's got a mismatch in there against Benny Williams.
UCF talked about that in shoot-around. The backside is supposed to load up to eliminate that over-the-top lob that they love to run.
Hall was left wide open, hesitated. He closes down the gap. Now Dickinson, did he get another piece? Well, at least did enough to alter the shot, and it's going to be Jayhawks basketball.
Kansas loves this lob. Hunter Dickinson does a good job walking you up. They run misdirection up top. And on the opposite side, Hunter Dickinson backing off, using his length, meets him at the rim, times it perfectly. Keyshawn Hall has to figure it out.
How about that spatial awareness underneath from Dickinson? There's another opportunity, 2-on-1, and there's a rejection from Benny Williams.
Right there, UCF does a better job defending it. Keyshawn Hall on the backside, there was 2.
Williams for 3, in and out. And a foul on the floor after the shot. That's going against Kansas, and that's going to send Ivy Curry. So there's a technical foul.
Coach Self.
And call it against the Kansas head coach.
I think Coach Self is upset. He felt like Hunter Dickinson on the opposite side of things got fouled, and he let the referees hear about it.
So a second technical we've had assessed so far in this game. And it sends Juice Ivy Curry to the line. Ivy Curry gets both of them. This is a Kansas team that went through strenuous practices getting set for this game. One of them was a 6-hour affair. Not all practice time, but watching film, team meetings, and Bill Self said out of that, I told the guys, I don't know if they feel better after that workout, but I sure feel a lot better.
I'm sure he does. The guys probably didn't, but I'm sure Coach Self loved every moment of it.
Well, the Jayhawks certainly responding here today. They remember last season, coming on the road here, getting upset by UCF, becoming the highest-ranked opponent the Knights have ever defeated. Hall will try to slow down Dickinson, and he does.
Keyshawn Hall has done a really good job one-on-one with his post defense. Super physical, not allowing you to get to your spots.
Williams, long 2. And a foul on the floor. It's going to go against Zeke Mayo. Kansas with a 10-point lead. Hey, it's
On a performance that he had last game at Texas Tech.
14 of 20 from the field over the past 2 games. So now the word is getting out that Hall is a dude.
He's an elite bucket getter, and I have no doubt in my mind that he will figure it out tonight.
Harris with the rebound. Zeke Mayo wants to run. Here comes Storr. And Mayo will let DeJuan Harris set up the offense for Kansas. And there's some contact by Sellers. He's going to be called for the foul. Trying to jump in there on A.J. Storr. What do these minutes mean for a guy like A.J. Storr that honestly have struggled to start their Kansas career?
I think it's him proving himself to Coach Self that we know he can score. We saw what he did last year at Wisconsin. But can you do the little things? Can you help influence winning in ways outside of putting the ball in the hole? Can you get those stops? Can you play on defense?
Got the offensive rebound after the Mayo miss. Here is Storr, transferred from Wisconsin. Dickinson, everything's been inside the paint. Now he's stretching it out.
And you can tell right now UCF really misses Chom. Really misses Chom and his defensive presence because Dickinson is doing whatever he wants with the undersized post players right now for UCF.
And Ivy Curry lost it, and it's going to be out of bounds. So UCF turnover, signs of frustration on the face of Jordan Ivy Curry. But Hunter Dickinson continues to amaze and climb lists for all-time rebounding and scoring. He's now over 2,400 points for his career. He joins Mark Sears from Alabama as the only active players with 2,400 career points.
That's a lot of buckets, Noah.
It's a lot. It's filling it up, King. Backdoor cut, Harris cannot finish, had a good look, Storr, rebound, charging hard, Dickinson can. Dickinson now up to 18 points, and the Jayhawks have their largest lead of the game.
Right there, Yoshi's caught ball watching once again. I know Johnny Dawkins at halftime, he will make that emphasis. We have to block out.
Now, if there is a knock on this UCF team, it's depth in the front court after shot. And right now, we're seeing the effects of that as Kansas has 9 offensive rebounds. Mayo, the touch to the freshman. Ibeduga is met by Osis, got denied. Still fighting, up and in. Talk about upside. The youngster wearing number 40 has it, King.
Yeah, you know, I don't know if Osis could have guarded that down low any better. Ibeduga just finished through the contact. Is what you want to see out of a young man.
Osis open 3 over Dickinson. And lefty short, Kansas basketball.
You got to take another look at this. This is impressive. Osis does a great job staying down, arms up, maybe got away with the foul, but Ibeduga just finishes through the contact. As a freshman, to be able to do that and to be able to improve the way that he is improving game by game, a lot of upside for this young man.
McDonald's High School All-American, top 20 in the ESPN 100 coming into this season. Dickinson, you've seen him do that a little bit more. Certainly not the go-to part of his game. Here's Sellers, 2 points in his return to the starting 5. He was the number 4 leading scorer in the Big 12 last year. And Storr checking him defensively. Storr wins that battle until the very end, and Sellers will draw the foul on A.J. Storr.
You know, right now, I think there's a lot of confusion on the UCF offense. When you add a guy like Sellers, as good as Sellers is, and this right here, he just stayed with it. Good defense originally by Storr, but he stayed with it, got the angle a little bit, and was able to draw that foul. But I think there's a lot of confusion on the side of UCF. When you add a guy like Jalen Sellers, leading scorer last year, and you mix him in what, you already have 3 guys averaging over 15 points per game. Now Sellers is looking to get his, and he's trying to find ways in order to be inserted into the offense when you already have guys for the whole season has been in the flow of the game and the flow of the offense. So I think UCF has a lot of answers, a lot of questions that need to be answered moving forward.
And that is really tough if you are Johnny Dawkins, because Sellers and Johnson have been your dudes. They are your returning stars, but you also balance that with the team that was rolling with Sellers just playing in 2 games off the bench coming into this. I asked Johnny Dawkins about that. He said that is the unknown, how everybody would mesh.
And I mean, I almost would have liked if Debo Coleman would have started, and then Jalen Sellers comes off and plays on the second unit, because imagine a guy like Jalen Sellers playing against the second unit of most teams. He is going to go crazy and get buckets.
But if you're Sellers, you're saying, I'm your guy, right? So I should be in the starting 5. So Ibeduga gets the rejection. And Mayo feeds him. Gillis is called for the foul. But that's coaching. That's that delicate balance.
Look at this right here. They are loading up. Stays on the floor, but Ibeduga comes from the weak side to meet it at the rim. They are doing an excellent job guarding Keyshawn Hall and limiting his scoring.
And no fouls. That's been the issue, averaging more than 6 fouls per 40 minutes played. They're going to keep him out there. He's got to prove that he can stay on the court. Great move by DeJuan Harris. That is a veteran being crafty, King McClure.
And that's just bad defense. You have to be able to stay in front of the basketball. You can't allow wide open driving lanes. But DeJuan Harris Super crafty.
Get their Knights back in this one, but Hunter Dickinson just is not cooperating. His effectiveness inside the paint combined with the Kansas defense. Look at this. A UCF team that has missed 10 straight no field goals in nearly the past 7.5 minutes.
And then you add all of that and you look at the rebounding battle and it's 27-9. You have to be better than that, especially playing against a physical Kansas team. And we already know what Johnny Dawkins will be saying to his team at halftime.
Johnson trying to get the corner. Badinga and Harris were there. Adams flying to affect that shot, but Hall cleans it up. And after 11 straight misses, there's Hall with the make.
Good scores, find ways to score. Let's look to see if that gets him going in this last 3 minutes and 40 seconds.
King, you brought up the point, though. It was this matchup last year where UCF trailed by 16, and what did they do?
They came back and won the game. So this UCF team by no means is out of this game. They just have to find a way to get stops and block out, rebound the basketball.
So you're saying Johnny Dawkins has Bill Self right where he wants him?
I'm not gonna say all that, right? Nobody wants to play from behind, but they're not, strangers to this.
Badinga just picked up his first foul. Dickinson will check back in a moment. Here's Benny Williams, one of the 11 newcomers on this UCF team. It was really just this guy, Johnson and Sellers, who returned from that team that upset the Jayhawks here last season. The push to Harris, and he's got his second bucket.
And those are the plays right there that drive coaches insane. You work on transition defense every single day in practice. So to let a guy like Deron Harris sneak behind you, no contest at the rim, unacceptable.
Here's Ivy Curry, checked by Mayo. A lot of length by Mayo, makes it tough on Juice. Here comes the former Jackrabbit turned Jayhawk. Lost the handle. Adams is there. Back to Mayo for three. Badinga, offensive rebound, taken away by Ivy Curry. He pushes to Sellers. Some contact. Harris just ripped it away. And a little smirk from the 6-year man.
That is what you expect from a veteran right there. One of the best defensive point guards in the country, and he showed us why right there.
Can you be a leader when you're soft-spoken? As Badinga gets the feed from Adams. Because Harris, when he says something, it's not loud, but it's to the point.
I mean, typically those guys lead more so by example than with their words.
And if you've done it enough, like Harris, won a national title, like Harris, you'll listen. Benny Williams, you had a message for him earlier in this game based off those outside shots.
It hasn't been falling, and they're giving him that shot for a reason. They're baiting him into shooting that.
That's the guy you want.
That's the guy, yes. That is the guy you want to get hot. That is where the ball needs to go because, like I said earlier, good scorers find ways to get the ball in the rim.
Keyshawn Hall lets it rip. That is his first make from outside, and we know that UCF has the weapons to make this happen, but Kansas has the experience. They got the old head at guard. Look at DeJuan Harris just take it away. That's my basketball, King.
You love to see the smirk at the end, but one-on-one, Jalen Sellers is so elite at getting downhill. So to sacrifice your body, to have the hand-eye coordination, to get that steal and rip it away, that is about as impressive as you're going to see on the defensive side from a guard.
Kansas has also been impressive in their usage of DeJuan Harris this season. Had to play way too much a year ago. So this year, minutes are down, scoring is up, turnovers are down.
I mean, you want him on the court as much as possible, but that's one thing that Bill Self made a point of emphasis last year. We don't have enough guys. We don't have enough dudes. Well, this year you go out and go get those guys. You take some of that pressure off of him by getting a guy like Zeke Mayo, by getting Coit, by getting Shaquille Moore, to where you're right. You ask less of DeJuan Harris, but the production rises.
And he is produced as much as any point guard in the game.
And I like this right here. This is something that I thought we would see earlier on in the game.
Uh-oh, look out! Storr throws it down.
Well, with the 2-3, they switched defense, and that was one thing Coach Self was concerned about, but he was prepared. The first time that they saw it, he saw the 2-3, he had that play drawn up.
And that's how UCF was able to get the win last season in this building, by mixing in a lot of zone. Mayo tries to save it. Benny Williams has it. 8 on the shot clock. Debo Coleman lets it fly, lets it rip. And now those outside shots starting to fall.
Debo Coleman once again shooting so well from behind the arc. I look for him to stay on the floor. They have to find a way to keep him on the floor for spacing purposes.
This is also a look Kansas fans have been hungering to see. Dickinson and Bedunga on the court at the same time. And one for Hunter Dickinson. And this is the lineup, the matchups that Kansas took advantage of when they were able to get back into the game against West Virginia.
He does such a great job walking you up, and when he catches the basketball, he is patient. He forces you to leave your feet. When you leave your feet, he goes straight into you, and he's strong enough to finish through contact. They do such a great job running misdirections to catch you sleeping and throwing the lob over the top.
Old school three-point play there by Hunter Dickinson. Michigan Wolverine turned Kansas Jayhawk. He needs 3 rebounds for his Big 12 leading 8 double-double. And we're not even at halftime yet. 2-second difference on the game clock and the shot clock. Darius Johnson. Shaq Morris is why he's in the starting 5 for the defense. Bedunga has shown he can guard the 1 through 5. Affects that. Williams, no. And that ball is tied up between Williams and Bedunga. And it's going to be out of bounds off Kansas, so it will stay with UCF, but there's 0.1 on the shot clock.
Well, I think what you said, you hit it right on the nail. That's the most impressive thing that Bedunga does. His ability to stay in front of guards on the perimeter is what makes him a potential NBA prospect.
Saw him. This shot clock violation with 0.1. There was no shot. You can get that off. Against West Virginia, when Kansas got back into the game, it was that defensive ability, the quick feet, as Flory calls them.
When I saw him full court on defense, stay in front of a guard, pick up the guard 94 feet, I was sold.
Now, it seems to be some confusion on how much time is left as Coleman and Johnson are going to the locker room. But if that is a shot clock violation, and there was still 2.2 on the clock to begin.
So it should be 2.1 on the clock.
So here comes Darius Johnson and Debo Coleman. They're coming back out for the final 2.1. In a moment now for Bill Self to game plan here for this final 2.1. So Dickinson goes to the bench. And it's going to be actually Dickinson to inbound. And this is the look that they tried to get against West Virginia, but it's going to go back to UCF.
And that's one of the worst things. We were always taught, if that's ever a scenario, try to touch the basketball so that the opposing team can inbound it on the opposite baseline. Now UCF has a chance to get a playoff, to get a shot off right in front of their basket.
Well, Dickinson made that pass from the baseline late against West Virginia. Got a decent look for Adams, but that shot was contested. There was a chance there for, as bad as Kansas played, to win that game. Now it's Darius Johnson to inbound. 2.1 for the Knights. The lob inside to Williams, some contact. Now the heave from Dickinson. And that will take us to halftime with Kansas in firm control.
Advocate for Sellers to come off the bench and run the second unit with the way Debo Samuel spacing the floor and shooting the 3. Let's see if he gets more minutes in the second half.
Knights looking for some of that palm fronds magic from Knight Nation. A tradition that debuted in this matchup last season and helped spark the Knights for a win. Sellers with the miss. Mayo to Harris. Harris got it back and puts it in. Now, no assist there for Zeke Mayo. His shot's not falling, but 6 assists, no turnovers for Mayo in the first half.
That's what you expect. We talked about earlier, the pressure being taken off Dewan Harris, because you have a guy like Mayo who can control the pace, control the tempo, and get the ball where it needs to go.
Johnson just cannot get that one to connect from outside. Picks it off. What hands from Darius Johnson. Sellers wants Dickinson. No whistle. And Shaquille Moore with the rebound.
I don't love the take right there by Sellers. You didn't have the numbers trying to go up against the 7'2" big and Hunter Dickinson. That's not what you need right now if you're UCF.
There was no hesitation, too. He wanted that throwdown.
He wanted it. I love the aggression, but you have to be smart with your aggression.
Skip pass. Harris, 4-3. Adams with the cleanup. Not fouled, but the ball is off the Knights, so Adams and the Jayhawks will get it back.
First minute of the second half, 2 offensive rebounds already. They have to clean that area up. They have to put a point of emphasis on that if they want to get back in this ball game.
Moore making his first start as a Kansas Jayhawk. Regular starter previous few seasons at Mississippi State. Adams with the touch inside the Dickinson, too easy. And the big fella's up to 23 points.
And Cham has to be able to switch positions. Hunter Dickinson pointing where the ball needed to go. They do such a good job on that high-low to get that post position.
Keyshawn Hall trying to get hot. Cannot connect from outside. He's hardly missed in the past 2 games. Struggle here today. 24-year-old on an 18-year-old. And Dickinson misses over shot. Here's Hall, 14 of 20 in his previous 2 games. He was electric in the first half against Texas Tech, and it was this man, Darius Johnson, that closed out the win. Sham. And he wasn't going to challenge Dickinson, but shows the touch for 2.
And that's one area in which he's shown that he has. He has that good touch around the rim to where he can step out and shoot the tray, or he has a nice floater, just like we saw Hunter Dickinson. But he has to be better defensively in Cham.
Dickinson almost giving that MJ head shake, like no one's coming out.
And that's
I can hit that.
That's where they do their dirty work. In the short roll, the Kansas bigs, him and Adams are so good in that short roll.
What makes Dickinson frustrating as a matchup?
Number 1 is the size. Number 2, it's the maturity in his game. You're not going to really wear him down. He knows how to get to his spots. He's such a veteran. Look at this. He's not going to go up again in the lane. He's going to stop on a dime, finish over you. He just has such great touch, and he's so skilled. I think you look at the skill set and the maturity of his game. You can't really wear him down or get him frustrated.
Can you speed him up? Because everything seems like it's in slow-mo. There's a gorgeous feed to Zeke Mayo, and Mayo now has 6 points.
Well, it's just too easy right now. UCF is not even trying on the defensive side. Their effort has not been what we expected to come out in the second half.
I'm telling you, the Knights look like the real deal coming into this game, but KU turning this into an exhibition almost.
Yeah, look at the ball movement, the high-low. And then Dickinson not only scoring, but dropping dimes. Can UCF get a stop? Has not been able to respond. I would expect to see more energy from the Knights, but up to this point in the second half, we have not seen that.
11 newcomers as Sham lets it go, almost ripped it. He's missed 2 of those from the outside. And this is just something that Johnny Dawkins really isn't that used to in his career, being at Stanford and early on at UCF. There wasn't a lot of turnover with this roster, but he realizes he's not alone. There's, in his words, about 30 to 40 teams that are going through a roster with double-digit new faces that you have to get used to.
It's the new age of college basketball. You either got to get with it or not coach anymore.
Yeah.
And we've seen some coaches not want to deal with it. Guys like Jim Larinaga.
Shaquille Moore picks up his first foul, so 11 newcomers, 9 are transfers, and they've played excellent.
Yeah.
Don't get this twisted at all. They have played excellent, but you wonder in a moment like this, the cohesiveness, when you are down and you need a response, where does that come from? It's one of those newcomers. Hall was a standout at George Mason last season. But this is the dog of the group. Number 3 right there, Darius Johnson. 1,000-point score with all of those coming for the Knights. Late shot clock, and not on the same page with the freshman, Mustafa Sham.
Right now, just no unity with the UCF group. They have to figure it out. I mean, inserting Sellers into the lineup, they have to figure out how to get unified.
Here is Moore. Brought a little more athleticism to that starting 5 for KU. His game starts with what he does on the defensive end. Harris is the strong. Mayo, beautiful pass. Adams wants to rip the rim and does. He is as physical as they come, King.
That was such a beautiful play. The back screen immediately into the ball screen, which freed up the backside tag. It was an excellent draw.
It's a 7-assist performance now for Zeke Mayo. He was known as a scorer back in Brookings, South Dakota, but showing he is a complete player. And that's what you always say. Great players, what do they do when the shot's not falling? Zeke Mayo setting up guys.
The back screen into a ball screen. Zeke Mayo out here dropping dimes, and KJ Adams throwing it down.
Mayo is everything that's good about the transfer portal.
Yes.
He grew up in Lawrence. He wanted to be a Jayhawk. But honestly, King, out of high school, he just wasn't good enough to play for one of the top programs in the nation. So goes to South Dakota State, cuts his teeth there. Now he is, and he's getting his shot to play for his hometown program and star for them.
Continues to get better and better every single year, works on his game, and it pays off to where now he's in one of the premier schools in college basketball.
Johnson in trouble, kicks it to Hall, trying to take Adams. Adams ain't taking that bait. He can hang with anybody, but Hall gets just enough. Maybe a little extension with that elbow. Keyshawn Hall will take it.
Tough shot maker right there. Keyshawn Hall getting to his spot, rising up over the top. They need a lot more of that.
And there will be more because, as we talked before tip, he's legit. He's going to be a dude in the Big 12. Kansas patient. 3 on the shot clock. Mayo, the late kick. Harris for 3 and got it! Ice cold, DeJuan Harris.
I think that right there is where DeJuan Harris has improved the most. He looks more confident from behind the arc, shooting 50 from 3 in the last 3 games.
Still got that baby face. Baby face assassin.
And it's all set up right here by Zeke Mayo, getting into the paint, inside out, finding DeJuan Harris in rhythm, hitting him in his pocket. DeJuan Harris knocking it down.
How about 8 assists now for Zeke Mayo? I mean, last 3 games, Zeke Mayo did not score fewer than 25 points, but shows that he can be a distributor as well.
You see the versatility in his game, and he's such an asset for this Kansas team. When you talk to Bill Sutton, when you talked to him earlier, he just ran and raved about this young man.
Yeah.
How impressed he has been with him. You know, he said he's not the most talented guy, but he's so smart. His IQ is great. He understands angles and pace, and that's why he's had so much success.
Are there players like this that are at their best when they are surrounded by more talent?
Yes, because he understands what it takes to win. If he needs to score 25, he can do that. If he needs to drop dimes, he can do that as well. But he's the ultimate winner.
Sellers.
Oh, my goodness.
I'll do it again, says KJ Adams. And the mean mug to last year's leading scorer. Adams on the other end. And will go to the line. That's a bad dude right there. I mean, you don't want to get in a street fight with any of these guys, but Adams has to be top of the list to avoid.
And he just knows who he is. You know what you're going to get every single time Adams steps on the floor. He's going to play hard defensively and give you everything he has.
He was also an amazing lacrosse player in high school.
Huh.
Can you imagine that physical specimen charging at you with a lacrosse stick? It seems like they're basically allowed to do whatever the heck they want. On no part of that.
Yeah, I wouldn't want any part of that.
So Hall picked up the foul. Sellers goes to the bench. And there is KJ Adams, 6'7", 235, all muscle. All muscle. Gets a split at the line. 58-31 lead for the Jayhawks. Here's Bidunga on Hall. He's going to be called for the foul.
Kansas foul, 40.
And that will be number 2 for the freshman. Originally from the Democratic Republic of Congo, played his high school basketball in Kokomo, Indiana.
Nice ball.
He's got the makings of being the next Kansas great, as eventually Kansas will have to turn the page from Hunter Dickinson. Mayo lost Coleman, lost everybody. Could not drop it. He's frustrated there because it was a beautiful job getting open there, King.
Yeah, you saw the pace right there off the ball screen. Super patient. That's why he got the open shot.
Jump kick out to Hall. He knew it was short. Tried to clean it up. Darius Johnson flying in, steals it, and he's off. It's just all off for UCF. Now 5 of 21 from outside. They had hit 10 three-pointers in back-to-back games. One of the big differences for the Knights offense this season. Offensive rebound. Rylan Griffin. Harris wants another one. Wide right. Adams tried to keep it alive. Harris, don't quit. He gets it back and puts it in. That is a young man that wants a dub, DeJuan Harris.
Those are the 50-50 plays. I'll tell you one thing, in the film session, when UCF watches this game back, there will be a lot of points of emphasis made, but the lack of effort and the lack of getting 50-50 basketballs will be huge. Look at this. Kansas is just beating them on the glass, and they just want the game more. Even up by 20+, they are still active. They want the game more.
That's littlest guy on the court against the biggest guy on the court.
They just find ways to keep plays alive, and that is what you get so disappointed in if you're a coach like Johnny Dawkins.
Here's Hall trying to go behind the back. Bidunga, you just can't shake him. Coleman feeding Yosis, and Bidunga affected that shot as well. Moore with a hesitation. To the freshman for the flush. Great effort defensively, and it's paid off on the offensive end.
That was a great pass right there by Moore.
Hall for 3, and got it.
He knew that one was good. He shot the ball with more arc that time. A lot of his shots today have been flat.
Only the 10th bucket of the afternoon for UCF. After I mentioned they had those back-to-back games of at least 10 three-pointers. Moore back to Dickinson, too easy for the big fella. And Dickinson up on 27, getting dangerously close to career-high numbers. His high for the Jayhawks, 31. His career high was back at Michigan, 33. Oh, no good. A 52-4 edge and point to the paint. Advantage Jayhawks. Griffin tries to make it 2 more, but trying to convert at the line. But you like the vision from Shaq Moore.
Look at this dime right here. I don't even know how he saw the angle. Such a tough pass. That right there, get used to seeing that, Kansas fans. Impressive.
Kansas has more blocks, 8, than UCF has points in the paint, 4. That is wild.
I don't know if I've ever heard anything like that.
The most since 2022 against Indiana. Now here's the transfer from Alabama, Rylan Griffin at the line. Now it really turns into gut check time for UCF. This is this is Everest to climb right now. But it will send a message to the coaching staff who wants to be here.
Yeah, 100%. I don't think right now it's about winning the ball game. I mean, yes, that's the goal and that's what you want to do. But right now it's just about pride. Can you fight back? Can you make those strides to execute the last 10 minutes?
And Hall wants that fight, but he's got the 2 bigs in there at the same time, Bidunga and Dickinson. Wisely kicks it out to Debo Coleman, coming off the bench for the first time. Williams, the outside stroke, far left. And Badunga, the freshman, comes up with it to Coit. And it's Kansas basketball. Here's Diggy. Not the biggest dude, but he can let it fly from outside. Here's Moore for three. Wants it. Has it. All smiles for the Jayhawks. And the response here by Debo Coleman.
No, Laura, I mean, Debo Coleman is a guy who I think still needs to be starting. I still think he needs to be in the conversation because he provides what UCF needs. They don't need another guy who can go get a bucket in the starting lineup. They already have 3 of those who average 15 a game. Debo is a guy who can catch and shoot the 3, play defense, drive when he needs to, but he's not a guy who needs the basketball. I think that is a conversation that has to happen amongst the UCF team because Coleman needs to be out there, especially with the way he's shooting the ball from deep.
Ton of high-level basketball, the ACC at Georgia Tech. The coaching staff has even talked about Coleman, saying that he's got a calming veteran presence for the rest of the team. That's just it. I mean, Sellers really is a 4th scorer at this point. And so do you balance it with having all 4 scorers that need a high volume of shots and have Coleman coming off the bench? Or do you have that tough conversation with somebody? As Badunga, there's block number 9 for the Jayhawks.
Goodness. And this is no knock on Sellers. Because Sellers is a great player. And look at this block. Badunga high pointing the basketball, and he has so much upside. But Sellers is a great basketball player. He's a great option for this UCF team. But with the way UCF has been rolling as of late, I think that you should have kept the same starting lineup, in my personal opinion.
J.J. Taylor unleashes the 3. Griffin fouled him, and so another one of the Memphis transfers will now go to the line. Taylor played 3 games for Memphis last season. A couple of rebounds on the year, did not have a field goal attempt. We'll go to the line here for 3. That point, though, back to your conversation point, for Johnny Dawkins, it's really trying to figure out maybe who's going to best handle that conversation of going to the bench.
I mean, because even if you do start Sellers, I think that you need one of those. I think Samuel Coleman still needs to be out there.
Yeah.
So one of the guys who average 15 points per game need to come off the bench.
And if you're UCF, as Tanner gets 1 of 3, you're hoping this was a fluky performance, much in the same way with all the talk of the loss against West Virginia for Kansas, that a lot of the Jayhawks faithful were hoping that that recent run was also fluky, but they're starting to figure some things out. If Rylan Griffin can consistently hit that shot, look out for the Jayhawks.
Yeah, I think that Rylan,
oh
my
no!
goodness.
Double-digit blocks now. Badunga racing the other way.
Oh, my goodness.
Him!
Oh, I bet you NBA scouts are licking their chops right now.
King McClure, what just happened? Now it's Moore's turn. Adams, there was contact, no whistle. Back to Moore. Griffin, back-to-back threes. And Fog Allen East is starting to get loud. Wherever you travel, if Kansas is in the building,
America that can make the play that Badunga just made, and that is why NBA scouts love this young man.
What do you see from the footwork? Because he says his game starts with great feet.
It's the truth. I mean, his timing is impeccable. We've seen it come from the weak side. When he's a weak side defender, he can pinpoint the basketball, and he has great timing on the backside. He loads up really well. I mean, defensively, his ability to stay in front of the basketball, no matter if it's a wing, no matter if it's a big, no matter if it's a guard, he's so versatile defensively. His footwork is great. I mean, there's so much to like about this young man.
So you're seeing dollar signs in his future.
Oh, 100%. Kansas fans, do not get used to seeing him in this jersey.
Hey, that's things that change, though, with NIL, right? He's got to pony up maybe a little bit. And back inside with a kick out to Moore for three. Moore rips it again.
But even that play right there, Lowell, the low side tag, stepped over. He stopped on a dime, threw a pass to Shaquille Moore in the corner. A lot of bigs can't do what Badunga can do. Like, take a look at this right here. Dior Johnson stops the break. Well, what happens? He throws it to the wide open man, takes his time, throws a dart to Shaquille Moore, who pays it off.
It's 80-38, by the way. 38, King. 3 followed by an 8. Valuable minutes here, though, for a team in Kansas that's trying to gel, as Coit was trying to throw it up for Badunga. Didn't get it initially, but after recollecting himself, too easy for the big freshman.
Now, one thing you look at, it's not the fact that you're losing, it's the way you lose. I think the way that UCF is losing is what makes this disappointing, because it's a matter of effort. That's all it is. The effort on the defensive side of things when it comes to blocking out, getting stops, staying in front of the ball, has not been there. It has been this kind of day. Wide open shots.
Ooh.
Shaquille Moore. Oh.
I mean, that's a little Curry right there, not even watching your work go through the net at that point. Welcome addition to the starting 5. Something tells me that, at least for the near future, Moore has locked down another opportunity to be in that starting rotation for Bill Self.
Well, he's done a great job on Darius Johnson. I mean, Johnson has had a really, really quiet night, and that was one emphasis that Bill Self talked about when we talked to him, is we're starting Shaquille Moore on Johnson to hopefully slow him down.
There's Dior Johnson, and really this 5 on the court, you can go 2 ways with this. Is this waving the white flag and just saying we're out of this, so we're resting our main guys? Or is this a message to your primary players and saying, if you're not going to do it, we'll find someone that at least plays with more juice?
I think it's all of the above. I mean, I think it's a bit of rest, and it's a bit of learning a lot about these guys. How hard will they compete? How hard will our younger guys go out there and compete? Down by 30+, will they go out there and give it their all? See who is competitive out of this group.
This is Dior Johnson, young man that played for 9 different high schools before beginning his career at Pitt.
Sheesh.
Ran into some legal issues there and restarted his career at Clarendon College in Texas. So a JUCO transfer for UCF that has been nothing short of locked in for this Knights program. Diggy Coit, step back like he did back in the day for the Huskies of Northern Illinois, however does not connect. The push from Williams. Johnson got it to drop, and that's how Dior gets it done.
Dior is so talented. And we saw that last year on the JUCO ranks, the #1 JUCO player in the country. And watching him score the basketball on that level, I mean, yeah, it's different going from JUCO to the high major Division I level, but a scorer is a scorer, and he's about as talented as they come.
And so 5 players on the court for Kansas that were not part of this program a season ago, as Coit misses the 3. You've got the 2 freshmen and 3 transfers. Oh no, the freshman says, I'm not done terrorizing your day quite yet. Diggy for 3. Badunga with the block on one side. And Diggy Coit coming back with the 3 on the other.
And you can tell Coit is just a natural scorer. He missed the last 2 threes, but wanted another one.
You just missed one, King. And if you look away from a moment, Badunga is going to do something to make you say, wow.
He runs in transition. His timing is so elite. Just take a look at this. He catches it right before it hits the glass.
Oh,
that's just great timing from a big.
Johnson tries to turn the corner into the hands of Marquise Passmore, also a top recruit back in his home state of Florida. To Storr for 3, and A.J. Storr connects his first outside make so far today. A.J. Storr just under 17 points per game for Wisconsin last season. Number 7 in the Big Ten. That's a feathery touch there from Dior Johnson. So why I say these are valuable minutes, you got guys that have done it in the past. If you get Storr, Griffin, and Coit going, there's no telling what the ceiling is for this Kansas program.
Yeah, I think Storr and Griffin will determine how successful this Kansas team is. I think how much they improve when they get acclimated to the system. I think that will take this Kansas team to a whole nother level.
So Bidunga probably into his afternoon, and he's done just about everything you could ask. 12 points, 6 of 8 shooting. He's got 5 rebounds, and the block shots also racking up 6 of those. 6 blocks for a freshman as Storr connects again. Taylor from outside, too strong. So if you're a Kansas fan, you look at the dominance here today, 90-44, all KU. What do you ultimately take away from this performance? Do you feel like your team has answered all the questions?
I mean, yeah. I think that you have to feel good. I mean, you know, when you had the month of December like they had, you were probably a little concerned, a little worried, but I think if you learn anything about this team is that they are competitive, they can play hard, and they're one of the best teams in the country, and they're showing why. Kansas up by, I can't even count that
I
quick.
can't do the
We keep talking about this young man, but there is a reason why. On the defensive side, he is about as elite of a shot blocker as there is in the country. His timing, his athleticism. He pinpoints the basketball before it drops, and he has shown why. He is going to make a lot of money playing this game of basketball because a lot of bigs cannot do this.
Oh, no.
Flory Bidunga just making it look easy.
Oh, do it to him, Flory Bidunga. 5 rebounds, 6 blocks, and get this, 14 of 16 from the field in the past 3 games. Now, his shot chart is basically just a single dot right under the rim, but he knows what his strength is, he knows what his game is, and it's that defense that sets a lot of his success up.
But that's all you need, especially when you look at today's type of bigs. Some bigs can step out and shoot the 3, but if you can be a lob threat, if you can protect the rim on the defensive side, you'll get paid in this game.
There's Storr. Hot second half for the Wisconsin transfer. I got one for you. Bidunga now, career high 6 blocks. Want to take a crack at the last Kansas freshman to have 6 blocks in the game?
Ooh, don't give it to me yet. Hold on,
okay.
hold on. Thomas Robinson.
Nick Collison.
Oh, wow.
Back in 2000.
Wow.
As Rylan Griffin has 3.
Wow.
Yeah, 2000.
Yeah, I was barely alive right then.
How old were you? You were like 4 or something?
I was 4.
Yeah. 13 field goals allowed, 12 block shots. I mean, this is as dominant of a performance as Bill Self could have hoped to see from his group. They were engaged and in it from the jump, which was not the case in the loss to WVU.
And this UCF team is a really good team. This is not an indicator of who they are. However, they do have to figure a few things out.
Mikey Williams, hard to the rim. So I have a couple of days to get right and then take on Colorado Wednesday. You'll see it 7 Eastern on ESPN+. Nothing working there for A.J. Storr. Taylor nearly lost it. Coit slapped it away, and it's off. J.J. Taylor, so Jayhawks basketball.
I think that Colorado game will be really telling. Really telling about this UCF team. Because can you bounce back from a game like this? Can you bounce back from a bad performance? How will you play? Will you let it affect your next game, or will you come out with the point to prove?
Can only imagine what practice will look like for UCF, and is it going to mirror at all what these Jayhawk players had to go through after their conference opening loss?
I remember my freshman year at Baylor. We went down to Texas A&M. Mind you, I probably only played about 8 minutes that game. We lost by about 25. That's the team with Daniel House, Caruso. They were loaded. They went to, I want to say, the Sweet 16 that year. We lost by 25. It wasn't even this bad of a game. We lost by 25. And we get back. The game was on a Saturday. We get back on a Sunday. We watched the entire game from start to finish. Like, I'm talking about from the jump ball. Coach Drew paused it on the jump ball.
No.
And was like, we didn't even do this right. So we went 2.5 hours in that film room breaking down everything. Then we go on the court and we practice for about 3 hours. And you know what's crazy? We did a defensive drill. You got to get 4 stops in a row. Mind you, I told you, I only played 10 minutes. He made the freshmen go out there and guard the upperclassmen, the seniors, and do a 4-stop in a row drill. We were in that drill for about 2 hours. He said, we're not leaving until you get it done. We weren't the ones who caused the loss. So why am I doing this drill?
So the big question is, what happened after that marathon film session and practice?
We bounced back. We did. We bounced back. And that is similar to what they're probably going to have to face. Their next few practices will not be fun.
Yeah, that's an understatement to say the least. Here's the freshman Passmore, wanted to dunk it down on Yosis, and he's still fighting inside. And there's a bucket for Dylan Wilhite.
It's plays like that right there, Laura. Like, that is a perfect example of how this game has gone.
Empty the bench and let everybody get their time to shine. Kick 3, no. Here's Coit. And Coit throws it up. Passmore almost brought it down. Taylor now in transition. And it's UCF's turn. It's Mikey Williams with the alley. A little too late for UCF as they will see an 8-game home winning streak. And a 6-game winning streak this season come to an end as Coit is blocked by Tyler Hendricks. This is also a really big deal for Kansas to do this on the road. Kansas was awful away from Lawrence a season ago. I mean, you're talking one of the worst teams in the Big 12. This is a get-right game for them. Chance to prove that they are still a force to be reckoned with wherever they go.
And when we talk about response, I mean, after losing to West Virginia at home, this is the response you want to see if you're Bill Self.
Diggy, in and out. Hendricks transition 3, too much. Break him down, young man. That's going to be off UCF. Kansas basketball. So next, it's going to be that traditional Big 12 rivalry, Arizona State and Kansas. You'll see that 8 Eastern on ESPN2. A test for Hunter Dickinson and company. Dickinson was in range where could have had career high in scoring if they needed it. And I'm not sure as Story gets this, they even needed Dickinson at all in the second half. It does come up 1 rebound shy of an 8th double-double on the season. But Dubs sets all that matters. And Kansas heard the chatter. The fans here actually want a bucket. They want 100 on the board. If they turn against their own team. Or is it the Kansas fans who are now saying?
It's the Kansas fans.
There's
a lot of Kansas fans.
Goodness gracious. So 99-48, the final.